Hey there, what's up, and welcome to another episode in the hardcore world. Welcome on back, guys. Very happy to have you here. Very happy to be back in this world. I am having such a good time. I've got a good amount to show you that I've been doing off camera, just in both preparation for today's episode and also just, for fun. Honestly, it's been a while since I've actually played the game of Minecraft just for fun. I don't mean that making videos and stuff isn't fun, but so I was getting kind of into the habit of playing Minecraft when I needed to make a video, and that is not necessarily the type of mindset that I want to be playing Minecraft in. And I have been really just having a fantastic time in this world and been just playing around, having fun, planning a few builds, and just the whole starting fresh concept I think has been really, really good for my just mental state on Minecraft, because I'll be honest, I was very much just like not feeling Minecraft there for a while. And this has definitely been really helpful with reviving that. And it seems that you guys have been really enjoying it as well. For anybody who is new, welcome to the channel. Glad to have you. And if you haven't checked out Brew and Build, definitely check out my Brew and Build series. That is really where we got started here on YouTube. And it is on hiatus currently, but let's go ahead and breed these little guys up. Here you go. Yeah, make some babies. Please, make some babies. And give me some experience. Enough to get up to... No. Noodles. Thought it was going to be enough to get to level 30. But definitely check out Brew and Build, because it's like the bread and butter of this channel. And it's been a nice break to take from it. Honestly, I'll be honest, I've been really enjoying not playing in that world. And I think really the main reason why is, oh good, we hit level 30. I think the main reason why I've been really needing to take a break from that is we've been going in that world for 2.5 years, I believe, 2.5 years or so, and didn't really take much of a break. If anything, we just added stuff on top and kept going with that world, and I've never really taken a break from that. Granted, there were a few, of course, like occasional months and stuff where I would take a hiatus from just making videos in general, but that wasn't usually my choice. That was usually because of something going on, like work was really busy or something, so it wasn't even... Oh, I see you, Mr. Enderman. You literally just moved this block over there. Endermen are so annoying. I almost have thought about putting the... I may put the data pack in that makes it so Endermen can't grief. I think that could be nice. Creepers, I do want to grief because I want the death threats of their explosions. But Endermen doesn't matter if they can carry or can't carry blocks. Last episode, we built this here building right here, the library, and we have not finished it out yet, and I'm gonna finish it out, over time, I think, as I get more bookshelves and stuff. Oh, I need to replace that. Maybe we'll tackle some of it today, but maybe not, I don't know. But we've got a nice librarian now that has Silk Touch for 8 books, 8 emeralds, I mean, and then knockback 1, so garbage second trade. This guy has a really good stuff. 15 for Fortune 3, 16 for Silk Touch. Not bad. And then this dude's efficiency 4 for 34, so not even that good. But ironically, a lot of my tools actually got efficiency 4 on them, so not bad. We can make them efficiency 5 pretty easily. And so, yeah, pretty happy with how they are. I think I'm going to get some more villagers in there, but I think I want to get some villager breeding happening first before we start committing all of our villagers to like a librarian sort of conclave. Now, as you can see, I have been doing some work over here. So we are going to be chopping all of that down for today's episode. Needed to grow a lot of trees. And so been working on the cliffside area here, going to be doing even more work, I think, in today's episode. But once these are all chopped down, or maybe I'll just be able to get on top of the house and give you a bird's eye perspective, or we'll get on top of that tree. Maybe dangerous, but who cares? What I'm doing here is I'm thinking what I'm going to do is thank you for all the ideas from the previous episodes for this area here. Um, I think I'm going to make make this part of the town portion, and then have where the chickens are be that area back there start being sort of the farm area. And this town will probably take over this hillside or mountain or whatever you want to call this right here. I think I'm going to expand it and make it go up here because I don't like where the church currently is. I think it could either go up here or it could go over yonder or something. I just think it could be in a better location. It's not in a good one right now. And so going to definitely be expanding this town and making it more how I would want it to be, I guess, while keeping to the similar color palette as we did here, just maybe adding in a few little flares and stuff. But I'm thinking I'm going to bring some houses and stuff over here and kind of make it so it like goes to about right here. And then I do kind of want to keep my house separated out from the village, but it's as if it's kind of like it's just a little bit of a journey to get over there. And so there's going to be like maybe a house here. And then there's just this small cliff to get that is going to be right up there. And so as you can see, I've done some terraforming to dip this down, make it feel a little bit steeper because I wanted a bridge to go across. Did a little bit of a covered bridge, different style of roof and stuff, but I figured, Minecraft doesn't have any bridges generally, so might as well make it our own. And then this cliff section is actually going to, I think what I'm going to do is right now it's all going to be flat, but I think I'm going to go ahead and make it connect up to this hillside here. And we could have like a road that leads up to like a watchtower on this mountain. And then we could have a watchtower up yonder, or we could put the church up there or something. Not really sure. I think a watchtower there and there could be actually pretty cool, overlooking just both. They're good vantage points, so I think it could be really nice. And then, of course, as we had mentioned before, the river will be flowing through this way. We have a good shovel, so we could actually tackle that relatively soon. But let's go ahead and take a look-see here. So continue the pathway down. And now you get this nice feeling here, and you've got a nice little suspension bridge, which I think is really, really fun using campfires. And then you kind of come on up here. I think I'm going to put a bridge right here to get right across, and I think that could be a nice little area so that this road does continue and you kind of can get to my house here, but can also make it across. So we'll do like a nice diagonal bridge. I think this is a great spot for that. And it connects up nicely with the house and stuff, or well, with the path and the house, I guess. Did some decorating on the house here. So, I mean, of course, this is very simple, but just putting some chairs and stuff to make it feel a little bit more lived in. And then interior is fully done now. So we have a glorious little kitchen right here. I think this is really, really nice, using the barrels for being some cabinets. And then a little book to showcase kind of like cooking or something, like a little cookbook or something. This could be a knife, some various different herbs, a double stacked oven. I know I would love to have this in my house because it's amazing how many times you could really use 2 ovens when you're cooking. Maybe that's just a first world problem. I don't know. And then a nice little just extended chair sort of dining set area. And then added a little bit of a sort of a comfortable couch area here by the fire, with maybe potentially a cup or something. And oh, it looks like the sun's going down. That's great because we can check out the upstairs. So I made this into an office, and our bed is now up there. So a little bit of an office area here, just a very nice quaint area. Thought I could just experiment around, make some fun little interiors. It's a really small space, so it doesn't need much. Like up here, it literally just has a bookshelf. Not anything special, but it works. And this is my main AFKing area, so you'll notice there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 torches in here because I don't mess around when I am in my hardcore world and AFKing. So yeah, that's good. And then downstairs, I did went mining finally, and actually got quite a bit of iron. So we now have 13 blocks and 8, and then this little amount. Got diamonds and stuff. I have a full set of diamond gear over by the enchanting, and then got 20 stacks of coal along with all of this as well. A good amount of lapis and redstone, so that is nice. We'll add the emeralds there. 34 emeralds, almost enough to get an efficiency 4 book. And then I think that's really it. I did continue and make it so that this piston setup here is all good. So all of this is growing and is now a double-sided sugarcane farm that is kind of hidden in the basement. And very happy with that. I think that's really nice. And then let's see how much sugarcane we've gotten. I haven't been here that long. Not bad. This is way more than I normally would get. Like, the fact that I doubled the size of it, it's twice as efficient, and it's wonderful. And then lastly, of course, you come down here, did some terraforming and some path design here with some cobblestone and mossy cobble. Wanted to make like a nice little just stone walkway here, because this is more, what I'm trying to do is I want to make my houses and my build follow a little bit of the color palette and stuff, but be a bit more me. So I wanted to make a little bit of a distinction between the pathway, and so we've got a nice little suspension bridge using these campfires, trapdoors, and all that, and it's really nice. I actually really like it. Then a nice extended roof here if you want to get a good look at it. I'm pretty sure it's like 2 blocks, and then it goes down by a half slab, then it goes down by a half slab. And then, yeah, now you're pretty much all caught up. And we're going to continue the pathway literally right through this tree. And then here is the area we are working in today. And very glad I have Silk Touch, because I have to pick all of these up, and I don't want to waste any wood. And at the end of today's episode, the goal is going to be to make some final gear here. Don't know. It's going to be a bit of a challenge, I think, to get level 30 enchants on this diamond gear, but we can definitely go for it. And I think that's going to be a nice ending to the episode. But to get started, I need to be chopping all of these trees down, because we need a good amount of materials for this build. It's all very simple to get, / a couple of them are a little sketchy to get, but not that sketchy. But we definitely need to take some time, gather some resources and stuff. So why don't we go ahead and do that in just a tiny little time lapse, and then we'll get right on into building. And then I think we're going to kind of build that, and then I want to kind of work out some planning and stuff for this mountain area, because I would love to just kind of continue this edge pathway here and make it just kind of go up. Starting right around here, just start going on up, and then, yeah, just make it go. Now, this is really sketchy because there were a lot of creepers and stuff in here, but that's fine. Now, did I pick up grass? I did. Let's go ahead and plop that there and plop that there. Boom. It's amazing how just 2 pieces of grass can add so much detail. But let's go ahead, get into the time lapse, gather some resources, and see where we get. All right, y'all, I have enough stuff ready to go for our build. Look at all the crap that we need. Well, okay, we don't need all the vines. Well, we may actually need all the vines. I don't know. But this is definitely more than we actually need, but I'd rather be prepared than not prepared. Right now, what we're going to be doing is messing a bit with some redstone. So I've dug out underneath the where the bookshelves were just a bit, because we are going to be needing to get around them. And first things first, we need to rearrange what this is going to be like. So let's go ahead and do that. This is the perfect hole for what we are doing. Now, you may be thinking, this is kind of strange. What in the world's going on here? We're going down, down, down again. Yes, but this is just so we can fit in the redstone, because right down here, we are going to have sticky pistons. Now, I don't have enough slime to be able to use, what's it called? Slime blocks. So we're just going to have to deal with using sticky pistons instead, which is fine. But the sticky pistons are going to be connecting to our bookshelves. And so it's going to be essentially what we're making is I want to be able to, we're going to walk down. And then if we could probably get an idea here just real quick. We're going to have the enchanting table right there. And so we're going to have a walkway that goes across and then out this side. And so we're going to have the stone pathway come across here, and then we're going to be able to walk down, and then there will be a pressure plate that's going to send a redstone signal to the pistons down below and pop them up so that we can get level 15 enchantments. Level 15s, level 30 enchantments. Now, some of you may be thinking also, this is not, you need 15 bookshelves. This is only 14. What are you going to be doing? Well, this is what we're doing right here. We're going to be having these bookshelves, which you'll see in the later design. They are going to be essentially hanging. And so they'll look like they're not actually a part of the enchantment bit, but in the overall picture of the build, they will. And they are going to be providing us those extra 2 bookshelves. The main reason we're doing this open-ended on both ends is because I want to be able to kind of just walk through here without any problems, because we should be able to just kind of meander around and not deal with it if we don't want to, because I would like to continue this pathway over here and then have a bridge go from here up to there, or at least up to a cliff section there, to be able to then wrap around either direction to get on top of this cliff area. That's the big picture. Don't have that figured out, but that's why we are keeping this open. Now, for the redstone, it is very, very simple. So if we have a pressure plate right here, we're going to be putting redstone underneath it to then be powered, and we're going to have a line of redstone underneath it going both directions, redstone repeater that is pointing out on this side that is going to be connecting to this side right here. And then on this side, where it's going to be the absolute strongest, we are going to be putting same thing, but on the edges here, we're going to send a signal around the corner, and then it's going to connect up to these 3, and we'll be able to power all of these pistons over here very nicely. And that's it. That's basically the redstone right there. Now, something we do need to do just for the purpose of this build is we need to get our glow shrooms, because they are going to be going right over the redstone in a nice pattern. So we're going to have the glow shroom like this, and then this is going to come out, if we can block that right there, this is going to come out like so. It may come out one more, not sure, but for right now, that's okay. We're going to be having this being like this, and the nice thing is this block being so unique and animated is actually a really magical feeling, for one, and 2, it actually connects when you place it the same direction, and it's really cool. It's like all the veins kind of connect up, and you can make like a nice patterned wall. And then just for the sake of consistency and color palette, we're going to be having a warped pressure plate, and I think that'll be good. And then if we test this, boom, there we go, and we can get level 30 enchants right there. So that is how this is going to work. So that is the redstone portion. Now, some of you may be wondering, why are we using glow shrooms? Just kind of magical. This is the part that I was wanting to make something that is really difficult to get right now, especially in the early stages. If we get piglin bartering, what I would like to do is I would like to trade every single one of these glow shroom thingies out for a respawn anchor that is filled to the brim with glowstone, but especially in a hardcore world, very sketchy to work with. You can interact with a respawn anchor in the overworld by filling it with glowstone, but if you misclick and do it 5 times, or you misclick without glowstone, it will explode because you cannot use it to set your spawn in the overworld. Now then, that all said, I need to get building, and I think the best way for me to do this is in the form of a time lapse. I'm going to have to be going back and forth between my test world and taking screenshots, looking at screenshots, etc., just to be able to get this right because it is a semi-odd shaped, especially the roof, semi-odd shape. And so why don't we go ahead, jump into a time lapse, and then I might do actually some voiceover onto it just to be able to discuss some things with you about this series and kind of the channel and all that sort of stuff. Alrighty, so done a decent amount of work as you saw, and did a little bit more, but you can't really see it. Decided to throw up a tree, but look at this. Oh, I am so happy with this. I think it looks so cool. So we continued the cobblestone, mossy cobblestone pathway here, just made it so it was fully blocked off, and you enter via this way. Now, originally I had it so it was a single wide block entrance. I decided I liked the 3 wide because you can really easily then go around this without having much, having to just like hop around. And I think that's better overall. I also like this sort of theme of the lecterns kind of showing like this is, you're going into kind of a more magical-y area. And yeah, I just think the hanging bookshelves is actually really a unique and cool thing to do. I just think it adds like a nice flair. And the fact that this is outside and it's like a almost like an enchanting pavilion, I think is a really cool concept. I don't really know. I've never really seen anything like it before. I kind of just made it up on the fly. And I thought it was a really cool idea. One thing I did want to do, I brought you back in a little earlier than I was thinking because I wanted to do a bit of tree building with you. What I wanted to do is I was just going to show you this tree, but I thought I'd show you the process, the entire process of how I go about building custom trees. Now, this is a very simple custom tree. It is not hard to make. It takes probably 5-10 minutes to be able to make the full thing if you have just all the resources on hand. So looks good, is a small-ish tree for if you don't want to like have a huge custom tree or something. And so it doesn't take long. It's pretty nice looking, and I think overall it looks pretty cool. And yeah, it's really simple to build. And so I thought it would be helpful for you guys if you saw the step-by-step process. I'm not going to build one on camera, but I have it broken down into all the different steps and variations you can do. So let's just kind of get in. So this is the basic framework of it. You go up by 5 logs, and then that's the height of your tree. And then on each side of the topmost log, you go out by 2 and then a diagonal, whichever direction you want to go. I like to go in kind of like a windmill fashion. So you kind of go out by 2 diagonal in this direction, and then similar to this, go out and then continue going around. But then I like to take one of them. So this one is continuing, and then I like to take one of them and go the opposite direction just to make it a little bit asymmetrical. I think it adds a bit of interest to the tree without just making it feel like a windmill. Like the windmill shape doesn't look bad, but having a little asymmetry in things just is more natural. It just feels more like nature because there really isn't a ton of direct symmetry in nature when it comes to like trees and things. So it just feels a bit more natural. Now, what I like to do for the leaves is now you have this sort of shape going on. I like to take leaves, line the entire limb top, so that you have sort of a base of what you're going to be going with. And so you can kind of get that windmill feel here. These are the two that are sticking together, sticking close together than these. And then I like to then go through and flesh it out a bit, make it a bit more of a larger sort of, it's almost savanna tree-y feeling when it's flat top like this. So if you want to make a nice savanna tree, this is a pretty simple way of doing that as well. But then during this step, when you're doing all of this, I like to go through and put on some leaves where every single bit end of the log is. In this step, if you don't want to necessarily have the ends, obviously feel free, use the wood block, the full bark block, but it doesn't really matter. But in this step, once you flesh out the top, go through and add a piece of leafage on each end on both this side and the internal side. Make sure you get both sides so you don't have either of them showing that much. And then what I like to do is I like to go through and I look down and find the centerpiece and kind of start by going off on each end wherever the limbs are. And that's kind of the guiding principle that I like to follow of like wherever the limbs are is where it's going to be the thickest and most supported. And so that's kind of why it's a smaller top, but it follows a bit of the limb portion. Now we do have a little bit of asymmetry and stuff going on. Obviously, you make it feel as organic and interesting as you like. But I like to follow the limb structure because it makes sense in my mind as to that's where most of the leaves will be because they'll be supported. Now, if we go down, and here's a good look at this step, this is what I mean. Both blocks, both ends of the block cover up with leaves. It just makes it a little bit easier to work with. And then you just go through and add in the final bits, make it a little bit drooping down a bit, some leaves hanging down because obviously the limbs will kind of drape down a little bit. One thing I do think is really important is actually making the outer bits, the part that drips down, and then the internal bit, I don't think should have leaves all the way around it. Because we can't have the individual small tiny limbs sticking up at all which ways, I just prefer to make it so the internal portion does not have any leaves. I think it makes it almost feel a little hollow. And almost it kind of, I mean, that's how trees are really. If you like look up them, the leaves are more on the outer bits where they can reach the sun. So I just makes it feel a little bit more realistic to me. And so it depends on the tree type that you're wanting to go for. These are maybe a little willowy-ish, just a tiny bit. So they have a little bit of droopage down. If you really want to go for some willow trees, you can like add in some really big long drip downs. And that will really sell the willow portion, but we're not going for that for this, so not gonna do that. And then I wanted to show some things that you can do to the trunk to make it more interesting. So the first step that I like to go through is add some thickness at the bottom. I think having it just be a stick like this just doesn't feel all that natural. It feels very Minecrafty, of course, but I think doing just even this, what I like to do is kind of put three just one block logs here and then one side to make it asymmetrical too tall. So it just adds a bit of kind of curvature to the trunk, and then also makes it so it's a bit more interesting to look at. It feels more like it's really rooted there. And if you do look at trees, they do go from thick to thin as they get up, just because obviously that's just kind of how they grow. Now, some other things you can do to add a little bit more flair to it. One thing I've been really enjoying is using slabs and actually trap doors to, one, cover up these log bits if you're not using the actual like full wood. But then I like to alternate where I am putting the slabs and trapdoors to where they're always on opposite sides. So it's always alternating slab and then trapdoor, then slab and then trapdoor. And then reverse when you go on top. You can add some supporting structure for the limbs. And so wherever there's a trapdoor, put a slab. Wherever there's a slab, put a trap door. So you always have some asymmetry and they just it doesn't look like slab on slab. And then obviously you can have some fences to act as almost like smaller limbs or something supporting it. I think that is something you can do, and it adds a bit of flair. Don't go too crazy with these, because I do think you start really just feeling the fence structure if you add a lot of them in. And then one other thing that I've been experimenting with is actually adding jungle logs into the frame, like the main trunk, just to add a little bit of moss or vegetation or something to it. Because if you place it sideways, like this one I have placed, so it's technically supposed to be facing this direction. So if we place this down, you can see the sort of bark runs horizontally. And if you place it sideways, then it runs vertically. And so if you want to make it so it matches up, then you can take a wood block, a jungle wood block, and you can place it sideways. And so then one side is always going to be the side that's actually this end is always going to be opposite of what you want, but these other sides are going to be facing vertically. And so then you can kind of line them up on one side with the wood block, and I think it just adds a little bit of interest and flair to it. Makes it feel a little dirtier, a little mossier, and overall I think it looks good. I think it's a nice touch to it. And then obviously you go through and you can add some coarse dirt, and I like to put some jungle wood down in the ground as well, just because I think it adds just, a little bit of a dirty patch, maybe a little bit of wood that's fallen, bark that's fallen, or some moss or something. You let your mind wander on those things, but the sun wouldn't be getting down here as much, and so there would be less grass, more dirt, and all that. You can throw in some dirt and some fungus and stuff just to make the build a little bit more interesting. Now, with all that said and the process kind of explored, I'm going to go ahead and get these finished up, and then I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. So let me go ahead, finish these off, do a little landscaping and maybe some flower planting and stuff, and I think we'll be good. Alrighty, everybody. It is done, and it is looking glorious. Did a bit more in finishing up the trees, and then also did a little landscaping, adding some bushes and extra lighting. We actually shouldn't need this anymore, because there in all of these bigger bushes is a shroom light that should be giving at least some light. So this may not be perfectly lit, but it should be decently lit. Oh my gosh, we are so full of cows over there that they have escaped. Interesting. We will go kill them shortly. But look at this. Isn't it just so fun and enchanting? I really, really like it. Originally I was going to have it so you could actually walk out and explore over on the top of this. But I think it's actually nicer that this is kind of like these bushes act as guardrails and make it so that you aren't supposed to actually like walk there. It's supposed to be a bit wilder and more lush and overgrown. And I think it looks really, really cool. And so, yeah, then you can come down here. You can get into the enchanting when you're done. You can just kind of hop on over, and then eventually we will go make a bridge to go up to about there. And then that pathway, I'm guessing it's going to lead that direction. But I think it looks so, so cool. It's unique. It's just such a fun, unique build. I think the last thing that we should do for this build is enchant our gear for the final time. Now, let's see. What is this? Thorns 2? That's pretty bad. Protection 4. All right, whatever. And we didn't get Depth Strider. That's sad. Now, Protection 4. Sure thing. And Thorns 2. Well, not really what I wanted, but you know what? That is better than what we currently have. So now we have Protection 4, Unbreaking 3, Fire Protection 4, Unbreaking 3, Protection 4, Thorns, Unbreaking, and Aqua Affinity Protection 3. So, not the best, not the worst, and I'm very happy with this outcome. I think it's a really nice beginning set of gear. We can obviously make some more as time goes on, but I feel much better protected in this. Like having all them armor icons down there, so much better. I just wanted to pop on over here and see what this looks like in shaders, and ooh, it looks so nice. I think it looks so good, especially in this morning light. Ooh, it is so, so pretty. So pretty. Very happy with this build. But I think that is going to do it for this episode, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Definitely a more unique style of build, I would say. And yeah, if let me know again if you liked that sort of tree tutorial that was more about just showing you the steps that I go through versus actually building it with you on camera. That is just easier for me to do. So let me know if you like that, and I will definitely consider incorporating that more into builds where I can. But that is going to have to do it for this episode, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. And if you did, feel free to hit the like button down below. And if you're new here, welcome. And feel free to subscribe, join the little family we've got going here. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.